students to the National Aquaculture Center. Thank you for coming. These are the clams we're going to try to spawn today. And who knows if they're going to give us some eggs or not, or sperm, but at least we want to demonstrate how it goes and what our work is here. So thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here. All right, bring some more clams. Let the rest hold also some. So they're coming from our ocean farm, and they are scrubbed now and cleaned. These one are all Repopulation. So they are between 5 and 10 years of age. Yeah, and the size they would be ready to spawn. But as we keep them in cages like this in our ocean nursery, if they have spawned already in the ocean or not, we don't know. So all we can do is try today and see what's happened. I came in 2004. I flew in because of the facility I want to see. I want to buy clams from here. And from buying clams, they say to me they don't know how to pack them and export them. Martin, why don't you come and run this facility here? And that's how I ended up here. Yeah. So when I came, they had only one species here, Triticata rasa, I show you later. Now we have 6 different species. Triticata chaigas, you see the shell over there? It's like 4 feet. It's the biggest mollusk in the world, and most places extinct, and throughout Micronesia as well. There's only a few left in Kosrae, completely extinct since the 70s or 80s, what I learned. This one, what you see here, this is called Susantelli. That's the symbiotic algae that we have to feed the larvae clams. If they don't pick up the symbiotic algae, it's the part algae, it's the color you see from corals and clams, then they would die, they would not survive. So what happened on the El Nino when the water gets too hot is exactly what is inside the coral, the symbiotic algae in the clams, and this is the one that dies, and then the coral dies afterwards. So when the water cools off, a clam is able to release a lot of Susantelli. That's why the clams are so important to the environment. Why is there no more clams, or at least not many clams out in the reefs? That's mainly human consumption. So CUM has one cage now. It's up in the blue wall, and the municipal office is taking care of it. And the juvenile clams sitting in that cage, they're growing up to size. Until 3 to 5 years, they might be able to spawn naturally. Then they're all together in that cage and they spawn. So culturing clams in a cage in a protected area helps to repopulate other areas in the ocean. So if we don't eat everything, keep some portions for reproducing, then our ocean will have clams in future again. That's the idea. But a clam, if it's fully mature, the highest number I counted were 70 million eggs. We need people who are interested in marine life to work here on the island to help regrow the ocean, to help us exporting. So you gotta study hard. It's a very interesting field. You know, when you go to our Instagram site, clamfarm_Kosrae, for years I had this dream. I want to bring back the extinct species and see if I can culture it. If I can culture it, I can bring it back to the reefs. And maybe after my lifetime, your guys' children might see again chaigas in the ocean naturally. And on one full moon of February 2020, on a Saturday, I saw the clams start pumping. And that's an indicator that they might start spawning. So I called up my workers, and especially Hero, they came in, we set up those tanks here, and we spawned them that night. So we were not prepared at all, so the survival rate was not good, but we had some. And the biggest juvenile from 2020 is now about this big. So we have already some juveniles produced here and put in our farm. So the first step is done, but this one, it was again February 9, 2024, but this time we planned the spawning. We used the new moon, and we set this up here, and we started spawning around 2 p.m. Friday. And they start releasing. Again, go to our Instagram site, you can see how unbelievable amount of sperm and eggs they can release. It's just like a snowstorm, I call it in the video. And we fertilize them middle of the night. It goes into 3, 4 in the morning. So the spawning was over, but the eggs are still here and not in the tanks. And, now we're gonna start feeding the larvae. Repopulation is my favorite clam for doing community farming, restocking. They like to live in the seagrass area, and they grow up to this size, releasing up to 70 million, or maybe more eggs. And they're very hardy. On the reef flat, it's really, really hot, right? So they can withstand this kind of temperatures. So they're perfect for reef restocking. So they're swimming, then they settle down. And you see how smart they are? They're building clusters. They like to settle down next to each other. Why are they doing this? Because they have the instinct that they need each other to reproduce. The color you see, brown, green, whatever, it's the Susandelli. It's just the way how it sits in the mantle and looks to our eye with different color. But at the end, see, we killed these clams here. We have 2 or 3 to get the Susandelli out. So we need to do this because if we don't feed the new ones with Susandelli, they would die. The larvae will be able to pick up and eat on the Susandelli and put it into the mantle. And then it becomes symbiotic. Then the clam will use the energy that the Susandelli produces to grow. Unbelievable what these animals can do.
Say the name of the animal.
Tridacna tigers.
Tridacna.
Tigers. Gigantic. They gone extinct and we were able to bring them back. And now what our hope is that they're gonna multiply by themselves in the ocean. So we have the first babies now. You see all these roofings? Why do we put roofings on where the animals, giant clams, live from the sun? We need to keep away the rain because these are larvae. They just spawned 1 week ago and they're floating at the moment. And we need to keep the rain out, otherwise the salinity would change and the larvae would die. So after 14 days, maximum 14 days, maybe 7 to 14 days, the larvae stop swimming and settles on the bottom of the tank. And that's the time they become a giant clam. Before they running through the different larval cycle, but then it's the time that they form a shell, and then, but we still cannot see them. So we need to snorkel in there without touching anything and just break away the algae that grows on the bottom of the tank. Because if the algae would grow and overgrow the cell or the clam will die. So there's a lot of work. Twice a week we have to jump in every tank after 14 days. We have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm passing here. This is not the terraza, but look at the color. Each clam has different color, different pattern, but they're all brothers and sisters. So these animals are born on November 29. This is Tridacna terraza. And can you see the clams? So these are all giant clams.
Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah. You see? And you see how they cluster? So remember what I told you, these are larvae animals that floats in the water. And after 7 to 14 days they settle down. And how smart they are, they settle in cluster because they think that's gonna be their space where they're gonna live for the rest of their life. And they need each other for fertilization for their eggs and sperms. So when you go in a healthy ecosystem and a healthy reef, whenever you find one clam, you see plenty surrounding next to each other. Because they know when they settle, they need, in order to fertilize their eggs, they need each other.
So,
if you want.
Just small.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go and put it in the.
how many do you have in here?
Or just small.
I did not count them.
Need
What
those.
you would need to do is you have a 1 foot square
Yeah.
and drop it in and you count.
Yeah.
And you count there.
What do you do over here with the algae?
Spray.
Over here. What do you do? You have a
And
sprayer?
This one we spray and this one we pen.
Okay, here, these are larvae clams from the Tridacna tigers, born February 9, last week Friday. As I told you, they are swimming, they're not yet giant clams, it's just a larvae and swimming up to 7 to 14 days. So how can we keep them and change water, avoiding the larvae to flow over and get out in the trench and run to the ocean? So here it's a mesh. You see this mesh? This is 55 micron. It's a 55 micron mesh. It floats, so we can turn on the water. The mesh size is smaller than the larvae, and by this way the water can run through, run here out from the tank, so we have some water exchange without losing the larvae. So it's a good timing for you guys to be here, because having this huge spawning of tigers, it's a rare event. So the first time they spawned February, the big ones, February 2020. From there on I had never luck. All I got from them were sperms. And on February 9th, I checked the moon and I said, okay, this is the day we make spawning. And we injected the tigers and they start spawning. And we worked until 7 in the morning. It was unbelievable. Millions and millions. You need to keep them in captivity minimum a year, depends on the species. But these ones are either from here, Marshall Island and Ponape. That's where I get the different genetics. You go to the reef and see where's colorful ones, and then you bring them in, you spawn them, and then the babies you regrow. Like this one, I don't know how many generations I have from these guys here. Lucia. So that's the hormone, the serotonin. We import this as a powder. It's pretty expensive and not so easy to get. You need to prove that you do research.
Looks like something's flowing out of the big one. Yeah.
Into the flesh. You inject in the flesh,
Normally I go all the way down to the gonad. If I can.
which you know is there.
Sometimes you can feel it's not there. That means they're empty. But even if you just inject into the mantle, it takes up to 60 seconds. 30 to 60 seconds. Yeah.
Oh,
Eight. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And what species are these?
Hypophus.
Hippopus.
Yes. So watch out now. This is important for you to know. When you spawn clams, they cannot fertilize their own eggs. So we call this as clam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if clam number 1 gives sperm, then we put the sperm into a sperm cup and put the number on clam 1 that we can recall. If then clam 3 releases eggs, then we put the clam into one of those containers and let them release the eggs and put down clam number 3. And then we eventually using the sperm from clam number 1 and fertilize the eggs from clam number 3. Here we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is clam 1, 2, 3, 4.
And what species is this?
Tridacna squamosa.
Okay. And that's very interesting that a clam can't fertilize its own eggs, which is why they've got to be grouped together.
Some people argue about this, but I'm very sure it cannot because I tested it. Thank you.
Well, we wait.
when that one spawned, you did not inject it. It just.
I did.
Oh, you did.
Not yesterday.
No.
Yesterday just by
February.
himself. February 9, yes, you can check.
I see.
But I only go to the mantle. It's yeah, and it's almost the same effect. But
Because it's about a foot down.
yeah, it's a bit down. I have a needle that long, but you know they don't keep the mantle inside. So if you put any lumber or something inside, you harm the mantle tissue, and it's way too much stress for them. I want to avoid it. Yeah.
Is it doing something? It's opening?
So this clam has opened up. This one, it's way open.
Yeah, stress after the injection. See the color?
Yeah.
It's melting away like, so it's full stress.
Can they see? Do they have,
They have
any
sensor.
vision?
They have sensor on the side of the edge. With other species, you see it even more. They have like dots on the side, a maximum light.
Kind of like eyes.
Yeah, like eyes. But it's only to the sensor that when the light breaks, then they start.
Darker light.
I see.
Wait, something's cloudy.
This looks better, yeah.
Something cloudy
this
is coming
more
out.
sperm. How is this side going?
Yeah, it is releasing something. It's all right. This looks like something's happening.
So would this one release eggs next? And did you say they don't breed, they don't fertilize each other?
Yeah.
I mean, the
Self-fertilization is,
it's not.
from my perspective, impossible.
Wow, that's a lot.
They, under the microscope, I never had any success with fertilization. I tried just for fun. I want to find out.
And they did this.
Yeah, not really. The cell structure, they were not forming 2 and 4 and 8. They just dying.
Stuff.
Martin, this is a success.
Yeah, it's a little success so far. It's not yet plenty. But I don't mind if it's not, if they released in the ocean already. At least I can show you guys how it looks now. It goes. So now you have to remember, the clam now relying on another clam nearby to release sperm. The ocean will, the wave, the current will drift away the larvae. And if there is no clam nearby, the eggs will not be fertilized. That means a natural spawning is not possible. This is what happened through overharvesting. And overharvesting is throughout Micronesia, everywhere. On all the islands, not just in Kosrae.
How long are sperm and egg good for? A week,
No,
a day.
yeah.
Wow. Good job.
Wow, it's plenty. It keep coming.
May torrent na din. Ang konti din na nakakakin. Gathering popline.
She want him to not go and
Kasi ganito yung atis natin.
from watching.
So now, what is if I put only one clam in here? Can they fertilize? Can they spawn? They cannot. So they need always a partner nearby. And then the current will wash the sperm to each other. And then the next clam will start do the same. And then the one start raising eggs, the other one sperms, and then the wave will fertilize. They are not dogs or human, they cannot walk to each other. So if we harvest too many, the distance gets too far from two. They don't even know that this one over there is spawning right now. And by the end of the day, they cannot naturally spawn anymore, and then it will go into extinction. So over-harvesting and climate change is the biggest threat. The giant clams plays a very important role in the ecosystem. Many people haven't discovered this, but they are a high producer of zooxanthellae. So during El Nino, when the temperature is too hot and coral bleaching occurs, then as soon as the water cools down, giant clams can release very quick a lot of zooxanthellae, which then those corals that still alive can pick up and come back to life, and they start the symbiotic again.
Do the giant clams have any natural predators?
Yes, a couple of them.
Yeah?
Small, very small snails. They don't eat them, but they suck on them,
Oh.
and they die. So that's why we have those filter sucks on.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have eagle ray, you have octopus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Eagle ray, they just coming and cracking them open like no one else's business.
Uh-huh.
It's for them nothing. I saw an eagle ray up at our farm like a bulldozer. The nose in the sand, in the gravel, and just bulldoze it through and catch any crabs, whatever lives down there, and eat everything. Oh, sorry.
Good? Are these good pizzas? No answer? Yeah. They're good. Okay. All right.
Cement plate that we form with the hand, then we fragment the piece off from this and glue it on another cookie, and then the coral grow. So a very good example is how corals from the same species are growing from 4 small cookies into one big one. So they're growing basically together and forming a big coral. That's how you can regrow the ocean, by restocking animals who are used to higher water temperatures or so.
Okay, I have to stop you. It doesn't look like an animal.
No? What is
It looks like a piece of rock.
Yeah, basically it's calcium, it's a rock.
Yeah.
But it's a living rock. So the color you see is the zooxanthellae. The zooxanthellae is the symbiotic algae that lives in the coral and the clam. That's the color you see. But zooxanthellae is always brown. It's just it's a hard coral, it's soft coral as well. So when the zooxanthellae dies because of El Nino, too hot water temperatures, then the algae dies. And after the algae dies, the coral will die. But if the water gets cooler and the coral still have polyps coming out from those little holes, the zooxanthellae can come back and settle and get into the symbiotic again.
Con có nạ mặt là tại kia Ano mamay ka?
Yeah.
Pag-bad sa akin. Kaya malibat sila.
Over there is where the cages are.
Uh-huh.
So, and this is now next one. We make it a little bit bigger because their cages, the clams getting too big. So they can make use out of this and transfer some clams in. It's coming. Hold on. Joe? Don't watch the corals.